Hello ladies and gentlemen, Teo here, back with the penultimate route of Ever17. We are, unfortunately, for the time being, back to skipping for the vast majority of our time together. It's unfortunate because, like I said, I blew pretty much all of my conversation topics during the first extended set of skips. So let's think, what can I talk about? I guess I can talk about the route going forward. Like what I'm expecting out of it. So, for those of you who have been paying attention, we are about to do Sara's route, the second route on the kids' half of the story. And kind of excited because I have been told that there are a number of mysteries that are answered in this route, which I find kind of surprising given that Sara's character, sort of what we've seen of her so far, doesn't lead me to believe that she's like deeply involved in the sort of overarching scheming and whatnot. Like, there are sort of two interesting things about her character, right? One is the fact that she's just nowhere to be found. This one doesn't matter. She's just like nowhere to be found during Takeshi's routes, which is weird. And then the other one is the fact that sometimes the kid mistakes her for Coco, or other way around. Or no, I had it right the first time. Sometimes the kid mistakes her for Coco for whatever reason. Still a little bit unclear on the reasoning there. But those are sort of the two interesting things about her character. Like the thing about hacking, I think, is we're sort of just supposed to take that as sort of a given. Like that's sort of a fundamental part of her character that doesn't necessarily tie into the overarching mysteries. Like, while it might be useful, and it might end up being important to the characters when they try and solve the mysteries or what have you, it's not in and of itself a mystery. But again, that's all just speculation. Could be that... What is that, like, weird fish guy? Like, I don't think he's plot relevant either, but, like, what the heck? It's kind of creepy. Oh yeah, also we don't know why Tsugumi was in the Tanuki outfit. There's like all sorts of these like weird little mysteries that like I had like stopped caring about because they were so insignificant, but like taken in aggregate, okay, the green fish man is not actually important. But the Tanuki outfit, like right here, this is relevant. This is like, there are interesting things going on right here that I, like, don't know the reason for. And it's honestly a little bit confusing, because, like, I'm not entirely sure how that ties into the main mystery. Like, it feels like we already have a good chunk of the main mystery solved, other than, like, what's up with Coco. Like, we know why the facility was locked down, we know why we were locked in there, we know why nobody came to help. We know... When's my first relevant choice? I guess I should, like, pay attention to that. I'm just, like, hitting the blue ones because then there's, like, I don't have to read text. But eventually we will come to a choice where, like, my decision actually matters. But I guess that is not until, like, well into the first... Well, okay, the first relevant decision I make is, like, which protagonist to choose. That one's a little bit relevant, I suppose. If I'm trying to like complete Sara's route, I probably shouldn't choose Takeshi as the protagonist. What was I on about a second ago? I was like on some train of thought. It was like kind of interesting, and then I just completely forgot. I'm very easily distracted. I'm like a what's an animal that gets easily distracted? I'm like a squirrel. I like see a nut, I go to the nut. I see another nut. I immediately like veer towards another path. Who am I? I'm a very simple young man, with simple needs, simple desires. Oh man, speaking of simple desires, I just remembered I bought some ice cream today. It was like, the slightly more expensive brand was on sale, so I got to splurge a little bit. It was like $3. It's like, oh, the difference between $3 and $4 is so important. And it's kind of funny, right? Because like, I'm not willing to spend an extra $1 on ice cream, but like, then I go out and spend God knows how much on like other stuff. But like that $1 on ice cream, like that's gonna make or break my budget. For the long story short, I have this sweet sea salt and caramel ice cream in my freezer. And if I was not like in the middle of Let's Playing right now, I would totally like go to my freezer and eat some. So I just want y'all to know that I'm making sacrifices for your entertainment. You should be eternally grateful. There are very real costs to making this Let's Play for me, in that I can't just get up and get ice cream whenever I want. I mean, I suppose I could, because there's nothing like physically stopping me. And like, based on how long the text is going to be skipping, like I might even be able to get away with it without like meaningfully impacting the Let's Play, but just for you guys, I'm going to not take that risk. Also, I feel like the odds that I would have to make a choice before I got back, or like, that it would get stalled at a choice before I get back, are like high enough that I would probably get punished, right? In the sort of gaming sense of getting punished, rather than the more general sense. I guess it's like more or less the same, right? Like you make a decision, and then you suffer a negative consequence as a result of the decision. Like I guess it's fairly sort of similar, no matter what context you're using it in. You know, one of these years I'm gonna have to make a choice that's relevant. I think it's like 3 choices from now is the first relevant choice. Like all the first 1, 2, 3. Like the first 3 choices in the route are only relevant for you. So this is either the second or the third. The second and the third questions both have the same options. So the first 3 choices are only relevant for you's route, which I don't care about anymore. The fourth option I don't even have access to yet, because it's relevant for the true route. Then the 5th question is also only relevant for you's route. So we don't get a Sara relevant question until the like 5th or 6th question of the route. I feel discriminated against. Like, what does the game have against Sara? Also, like, getting onto Sara's route is like kind of obtuse, because you don't only have to accumulate points towards Sara's route, you also have to accumulate as many like Coco points as you can as well, even though you're not going onto Coco's route, because some of the Coco points are locked behind an option that isn't given to you until you have completed all of the endings. So ask you or don't ask you. Right. This is the 3rd choice. There is a correct answer and incorrect answer, because not asking you doesn't give points towards any route, and also not asking you means that I would have to like read dialogue and narration. And good God, who wants to do that? That's not what I do Let's Plays for. I do Let's Plays to press the F3 key. But yeah, you have to like collect points towards Coco's route as well as points towards Sara's route, which like I wonder if there's like some meta reason for that. It makes sense that there would be. And like contact the outside. Okay, so this is the last irrelevant choice I get to make. After this I have to start making actual choices. Ah yes. You is making good decisions. Like I can't even remember what happened, but I can infer from the pictures. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, like, I could speculate about, like, the nature of Coco and Sara's relationship based on the fact that, like, so here I am supposed to worry. Wait, why did I choose not worry last time? That doesn't give points towards any route. Like, there's a correct answer here, too, and I just didn't choose it. Wait, what are we worrying or not worrying about? This is, like, relevant, and I can't even remember. It's been a very long time since I played Use Route. It's, like, 3 weeks. Where's Sara? I realized she wasn't around. I glanced around the room without me noticing it. Sara had come to stand behind me at some point. Oh, this is about, Tsugumi getting pissed. Wait, why do I have to worry about it? Oh, what's wrong? I couldn't help but notice a dark look in her eyes. There was nothing left of the ninja attitude that she had departed with. Oh, right. There's, like, something going on between Sara and Tsugumi as well, right? Like, there was that fight they got into over the locket. That I don't know yet what that was about. Like, I don't know if we even found out what was inside the locket. Did something happen? Sara? Sara? Hey! What? You alright? Sure, fine, great. Why do you ask? Well, I mean, you look so depressed. No, it's not that at all. It's just... We didn't find an exit, so I'm feeling kinda down. So, I wonder if, like, her spacing out there like that was relevant. Like, does that have something to do with her connection to Coco? Because it's obvious there's some sort of connection between them, if just from the scene in the whale room near the end of the route, right? Or near the end of Yu's route. Is that really all that's bothering you? And also the fact that, like, one of them shows up in Takeshi's route, and then the other one shows up in the kid's route. Like, those two facts in and of themselves are, like, fairly damning. Yeah, that's all. Sarah's spirit seemed to lift a little. Seeing her smile made me feel a bit relieved. Anyway, just standing here isn't going to get us anywhere. Let's see what the situation in Limu is right now via the control room. Sora said this and pointed to the control room right across from us. Encouraged by Sora, we all shuffled into the room. So, Sora, do you understand that? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. What was I saying? Ah, yes. So, I was going to say, based on the fact that Sarah's route points towards Sarah's route, but also points towards Coco's route, like, I could start to make inferences, like, based off of that information, but I feel like I shouldn't. I feel like that, like, violates Nox's 10 Commandments. Like, the detective can't get information from outside sources, and I'm pretty sure, like, a walkthrough for how to access the different endings counts as outside information. Out of idle curiosity, how well has Ever17 been following Nox's 10 Commandments? Nox's 10 Commandments. 10 Commandments of Detective Fiction. Criminal must be somebody mentioned in an earlier part of the story, but must not be anyone whose thoughts the readers have been allowed to follow. So, that's reasonable. Like, Lieblich Pharmaceutical got mentioned earlier in the story. Also, you're gonna have to put up without background. Oh no, you're not, because I have the page open. Yeah, here we go. Pay no attention to me. The criminal must be somebody mentioned in an earlier part of the story, but blah blah blah. I just said that. So Lieblich's been mentioned, and T-Plow got mentioned before we found out that, like, there's a T-Plow outbreak. So we're in the clear there. Wait, is this a relevant choice? I feel like this isn't a relevant choice. All supernatural or preternatural agencies are ruled out as a matter of course. It's sci-fi, so we'll give them a pass there. Not more than one secret room or passage is allowable. Are there secret passages? Oh yeah, I should, like, check to make sure that I'm not, like, making choices. Making, like, incorrect choices when I assume things aren't relevant. So, next relevant choice is, at some point we're going to be asked to go to the control room. Oh, no, never mind, that's not relevant. It's only relevant if we're already on Coco's route. So, next relevant choice is... no problem, or don't think so. And we are supposed to choose no problem. Okay, but it is going to be quite some time before then. Alright, back to Nox's Decalogue. No more than one secret room or passage is allowable. I'll hold off on that one till the end. I don't think there's been, like, more than that. Like, I don't know if Heimel really counts as a secret room. It's like a secret building. But, like, people aren't getting from point A to point B through, logistically, through, like, methods that aren't immediately obvious. No hitherto undiscovered poisons may be used, nor any appliance which will require a long scientific explanation at the end. It's sci-fi, so you can sort of... there isn't, like, an appliance that needs a long scientific explanation. And T-Flow is, like, explained within the story. So, that's fine. Fifth one doesn't count. Rule 6, no accident must ever help the detective, nor must he ever have an unaccountable intuition which proves to be right. So, is a detective in this context me, or, like, it's the kid and Takeshi, right? So, that one's violated a little bit, because Takeshi, like, throws the stupid soda can at Sara, and it, like, goes right through her. So, we have violated Nox's 6th commandment. The detective must not himself commit the crime. So, we don't know the full list of guilty parties yet, assuming there are guilty parties, other than, like, Lieblich Pharmaceutical. But so far it looks like the kid and Takeshi are, like, relatively blameless. So we're in the clear there. The detective must not light on any clues which are not... Wait, huh? I turned my eyes to the massive monitor behind Sora. A flat map of Limu's white stock and Drita stock floors was displayed. Lemma was monitoring Limu wall-to-wall 24 hours a day. If Lemma couldn't survey the situation, then what in the world... By the way, why is Lemma called Lemma? Oh, haven't I told you? No, this is like one piece of new information. But it, like, wasn't actually interesting new information. God damn it. So where was I? Detective must not light on any clues which are not instantly produced for the inspection of the reader. Yeah, I think so far it's been good about that. Like, Takeshi and the kid haven't, like, noticed something and then not immediately made it obvious via internal monologue. The stupid friend of the detective, the Watson, must not conceal any thoughts which pass through his mind. His intelligence must be slightly, but very slightly, below that of the average reader. So, wait, who's Watson? So I feel like the stupid friend of the detective is, like, Takeshi, but Takeshi is the detective in some of the story arcs. Like, I guess, like, Ever17 doesn't really have a Watson. I thought it would go somewhere else, to the warehouse. None of these choices matter. Twin brothers and doubles generally must not appear unless we've been duly prepared for them. Interesting. Not quite sure what the deal with the U's are. We have been duly prepared for something, though, so that one's probably in the clear. Actually, Naki said that she wanted to be alone, so we just went our separate ways. Oh, that reminds me, how is Tsugumi? Sara sighed slightly and held her hands out, palms facing up. I see. Feminine intuition aside, not even the two girls had been able to get through to her, even though there was no apparent reason for Tsugumi to hold a grudge. What could Tsugumi have been so angry with us about? Okay, so that's the 10 Commandments. Okay, fine. Oh, I talked to Sara and she said that things were no good with Tsugumi. Well, you could say that. What exactly happened? Well, in a nutshell, it was like we whiffed. Okay, I'm just gonna go double check my my flowchart real quick to make sure there aren't relevant things that I'm missing. Yep, nope. I should have just done them top to bottom, because I'm pretty sure that's what I did the first time around. And, like, then I wouldn't be having new dialogue pop up. What do you mean? We started with light conversation about how old she was, where she lived if she was hungry. We were biding our time waiting for the right pitch. And yeah, this is all old. Mistakes were made. Oh yeah, so Decalogue. So, which one did I say we violated? Oh yeah, no accident must ever help the detective. But other than that one, and like, Sora being a hologram wasn't like... It was like fairly early in the story, which makes it more acceptable. And like, it wasn't a super huge plot point, which makes it more acceptable. So, Ever17 so far has been like pretty good about sticking to the Decalogue. And it's not even like the Decalogue is like a codified set of rules, right? It's just like some guy came up with them. And while they make good guidelines, you can very easily come up with situations in which breaking any or all of them might be a good idea. But then again, I'm not at the end of the story yet, so we might yet have appliances which will need a long scientific explanation at the end. And depending on how they set up the situation with the two U's, that may or may not follow the 10th commandment. I don't think there's doubles of anyone else, but if there are doubles of anyone else, then those almost definitely violate the 10th commandment. Like, they set it up a little bit at the end of Tsugumi's route by talking about the like mouse getting spliced in half. And they're like, oh my god, we could make like 18 of them, or never mind, powers of 2. We could make like 16 of them. Ha-da-da-da. Oh, right there. Takeshi shamelessly carried on like that, looking happily asleep. So, wait, what's happening? Use body. Wait. That's weird. It's like not skipping properly. Oh well. She's way too rough. That's why she can't get a guy. Huh? What? Okay. That's just like slightly different. Again, why does it keep doing that? It's like not plot relevant things. It's just like randomly changing tiny pieces of text just to like mess up the flow of my skipping. It's super tilting. What was I saying about? Oh right, cutting people in half. So if there are duplicates of other people, it's like you might be able to argue that it like stays true to the Decalogue if like the method used is the person has a cure and gets cut in half. Like that you can argue that that doesn't violate the 10th commandment just because it was established earlier in the story that that is a method by which you can create doubles. But even then, I don't know if it's been properly set up that there are doubles of any other characters. Like, the Coco-Sara relationship is one thing, the Yu relationship is one thing, but other than that, there, like, shouldn't really be any body doubles, as far as I can think of. Like, obviously Sora gets a pass, because we've, like, she, like, on screen, like, makes doubles of herself. She's like, look, this is a thing that I can do. And so obviously that's not going to be violating the Decalogue, but anyone else having copies we might have problems with. I should probably be paying like a little bit more attention to what's going on, given that it, like I said, it's been like 3 weeks? Almost 4 weeks now, since I originally read Use Route, but we're gonna wing it. Okay. Did I choose no problem? Was I given the option between no problem and don't think so earlier? I can't actually remember anymore. Well, the choice after that is either go with you or go with Sara and Sora. So if I'm given that choice, I might go back and double check to make sure that I made the correct choice earlier. Like, I'm only actually half paying attention to the game, and the other half of my attention is, like, focused on my like, incoherent rambling. Which is, like, probably ideal for, like, entertainment value, because if I was focusing entirely on the game, then, help you or wait here. Oh, wait, what's WH? Is that important? WH... Oh, WH is important. So I have to wait here. Alright, this is... The flowchart is arranged in a slightly confusing manner. Like, there's like horizontal lines and then like a vertical line coming out of it with a triangle or with an arrow, but I guess it makes sense. So yeah, I have to wait here. This is actually important. This is important before no problem versus I don't think so. So I have not made any incorrect choices as of yet, probably. But we will be waiting here. I'll wait here. So what are we gonna do? Oh, well, then I'll have to make do with Takeshi. Jeez, you're a piece of work. Can you let your real feelings show? Don't be getting any strange ideas. If you do, and I'll knock you down. Got it? Take it easy. There's no way I'd try anything, even by mistake. When the two of them disappeared at the far end of the corridor, they were still going at it. Those two. Yeah? I don't know, I think they make a pretty good couple, don't you? Think so? Yeah, Nakia is the kind of person who tells people she likes what she really thinks. She speaks her mind. Takeshi kinda seems like that too. I wasn't sure why, but somehow I was a little jealous of you and Takeshi. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't open up to anyone like that. I had nothing to share. Oh right, kids' amnesia. We still haven't gotten a good explanation for that yet. A while after the two had disappeared, Sara and I hadn't spoken another word. The two of us just leaned against a wall and stared into the darkness. I was desperately trying to think of some way to break through the wall that had formed between us. Oh right, and then like the kid's sister. Still don't know anything about that either. Sara, how old are you? Finally the words tumbled out of my mouth. Where did that come from? I thought I told you. I don't think so. I'm a junior. I'm 16, born January 21st. Oh, and I'm an Aquarius. Sara rattled it off so smoothly she might have been singing a song she knew. And you, kid? I didn't know. When I tried to remember, it was like my mind would fog over. I couldn't get close to it. It was like a mirage in the desert. I wonder how old I am. You don't know that either? Nope. It's kinda sad. Yeah. Maybe it's good in a way. What do you mean? Well, maybe it was something that you wanted to forget about. Just kidding. Sara's expression relaxed into a silly look. What? Don't scare me like that. Sorry. I know, maybe if I chopped you down, we'd find out how old you are. Huh? Like rings in a tree? Is that the joke you're making here? You know, maybe you got rings like a tree stump. God damn it, Sara. This is why we can't have nice things. For some reason, my eyes strayed to the palms of my hands. In the darkness, only dimly illuminated by the emergency lights, my fingers appeared to glow slightly white. I didn't know what had happened to my finger. Your finger! Muttering this, Sara grabbed my finger. It was so sudden it put me at a loss for words. In the darkness, Sara whispered words as if confirming something as she grabbed my thumb. Moonsprite, shouldering a long bow, waiting inside a dream. What? What am I supposed to make of that? What does that mean? Sara just shook her head. There was no sign that she was going to answer me. She just murmured the words like a spell or a nursery rhyme as she held my thumb gently. A moonsprite. I wonder why Sara had suddenly grabbed my thumb. Still, I didn't have any urge to pull it away from her. As I remained aware of my thumb, I searched for an answer from Sara's slightly sweaty, warm palm. We're back! I think we'll be okay now. It was a hassle looking for a valve, but with the two back, Sara finally released my thumb. In the darkness, I couldn't very well make out Sara's expression. The area around Sara's mouth pulled slightly down, as if she were sad. Warmth lingered around my thumb. I don't know why, but I hesitated to wipe the warmth away and gently inserted my hand into my pocket, leaving my thumb extended. That's a little bit creepy. With this, we would be able to shut off the hot water flowing to the generator room. And that is probably it for our generator room adventure. Oh, maybe it is not. Takeshi and you tackled the main work. There was hardly anything for Sara and myself to do as we knew squat about machines. We functioned as assistants, shining flashlights, handing over tools, and loosening valves as instructed. Okay, I guess it is going to be slightly different moving forward, because the last time the narrative was like trying to build rapport between the kid and you, so it had the kid act as Yu's assistant, but this time that's not important, so Yu's choosing assistants based on competence, although I struggle to describe Takeshi as like competent in any real capacity. After this and that, we succeeded in repairing the generator. It was just like Sara had said, the cause of the blackout was the opening of the safety valve due to the drop in air pressure. When pressure from the valve becomes excessive, the valve automatically opens to release the gas and prevent damage. Normally, after a release of surplus gas, the valve is designed to shut naturally, but we're only at 1 atmosphere. Because the safety valve never closed, the steam continued leaking. Blah, blah, blah. Right, I'm gonna grab some water and hope that, I don't have to make a choice anytime soon. Tastes like water. Alright, so this time I'm gonna remember. But I have to say no problem when given the option. I assume that I did it correctly last time, because again, it's a choice between something that advances a route and something that does not advance a route. So, oh my god, I did it wrong. I'm a dumbass. Well, better late than never, I guess. Oh well, so any kind of juice is okay? Sure, anything is fine. Great. I felt like the group hierarchy had sorted itself out. Oh, this is where they're like bullying the kid into getting drinks for everyone. I left the conference room and headed for the kiosk. I had a good idea of where it was from my wanderings around the complex the day before. I went through the rest area on my way. Huh? Something had been left on the bench. It was wrapped chicken sandwiches. I figured these were probably sandwiches that Takeshi had made and taken to Tsugumi and Sora. I bet that during the blackout they had been forgotten. Alright, well, may as well take these along. I took the sandwiches and put them in my pockets. At the kiosk, I started looking for drinks. There was enough food and drinks for us to survive for days. The only food there was chicken sandwiches and the ingredients to make them, but at least we didn't have to worry about food, meaning we were unfortunately fortunate. I took 6 cans of cola from the kiosk's freezer. Only Sara had asked, but I thought I'd take back enough for everyone. Here we go. Cradling cola in both arms, I started back. Here you go. When I came back, everyone was chattering loudly. Cards were randomly placed on the table face down. They might have been playing a game. Welcome back. I figured since I was there I'd bring enough back for everyone. Thank you, sir. Sara took two of the cans. Sara took 2 of the cans and handed one to you. Here you go, Nakyu. Hey, kid, that was sure thoughtful of you. You took the cola from Sara and popped open the tab. Like a pro, she held the fizz down so it wouldn't explode. She didn't go getting herself all drenched in soda. So what were you all up to with the cards? I put the remaining 4 cans on the table. Mental guts? What's that? Right, why do they keep calling concentration that? Like, it's called concentration. You don't know about mental guts? Never heard of it. I'll bet it went with your memory. It's a super famous game. I realized that I couldn't remember even these kinds of things. I wondered if I should have been more uneasy about my lost memory than I was. Let me get some more water. I am unexpectedly thirsty. Don't know why. Perhaps I'm going to die. Perhaps I have teeth blau. Although I guess they never like said that a symptom of teeth blau is like being really thirsty. So I'm probably safe on that front. Maybe you have diabetes. I think that makes you thirsty. Just like go on WebMD. But then it'll just tell me I have cancer. More likely is like, I'm just thirsty. There isn't like some deeper reason behind it. Well, at least if we have Tsugumi's route to base hypotheses off of, it shouldn't be much longer. Or like, once the routes start diverging, we get to have less of this. Although that said, it still hasn't gotten to the divergence point between the common route and the true route. So we're gonna have to do this again after we finish Sara's route. It's pretty exciting. I don't actually know which side I'm gonna come in into the true route from, because you can go in from either Takeshi's route or the kid's route. If one is like better than the other, I'm all ears. You should like let me know in the comments. But as of right now, I am more or less undecided, largely because I don't have any information to base the decision off of. Come on, do something interesting, people. And by interesting, I mean something that you didn't do in Yu's route. Like, I recognize that that's not going to happen until the next time I make a choice. But, like, I can pretend at least. Oh god, they're playing tag. This is going to take forever. And we still don't know, like, what kicked over the can, right? Or, like, what knocked over the can. Like, I can't imagine it was Chami. And it happened in both routes, so it can't be something related to, Coco Sara. Or Coco or Sara, I guess. I shouldn't assume that they're the same person. I don't have, like, proof of that yet. But, like, yeah, that's still bothering me. Wonder how much longer it's gonna be. Like, there's the can kicking, so we're like almost at the end of tag, and I can't remember the scenes well enough to. Oh, it's in the middle of the game of tag that I have to make my first relevant choice. All right, well, going to Sara and Sara. Huh? Is that you, kid? Kid, you decided to come this way? Yeah, but where do you plan to hide? If you're gonna stay with us, you have to help us think of something. I ran with the two of them. I know, I've got a great idea. Saying that, Sara stopped suddenly. What? What is it? It's times like this that call for ninja skills. Ninja skills? Sora, when Takeshi comes through, use RSD to show him an empty corridor. Pretty sure that's cheating. Like, pretty sure that's cheating. Also, I don't know if those count as ninja skills. I think those count as, artificial intelligence skills, or perhaps, like, RSD skills. I don't think those count as ninja skills. This is known as the elite art of ninja camouflage. Huh? That would be... Isn't that against the rules? Don't be a spoil sport. We bet instant travel and bioscans, but not using Lemma, right? I mean, she's technically right, and as a consummate tryhard, I, like, am probably supposed to agree with her here, just, like, on principle. Like, it is, my like, general policy to, follow the letter of the rules and not the spirit, but, like, there's no stakes, and that kind of, like, cheapens the whole game experience, right? Like, it just sort of, like, fundamentally breaks the game. Like, hide and seek becomes a lot less interesting when the hiders are invisible. But, what do I know? That's sneaky. In the lexicon of the ninja, we call it a secret technique. No, I'm not having any of it. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that I can't agree either. What? Then, how about the elite ninja doppelganger technique? Yeah, no. Huh? We can use RSD to make it appear that there are lots of us to confuse Takeshi. That's the same thing. Why don't we say no ninja techniques using Lemma? You two are such prudes. Just then, someone's here. It's probably you. Probably. We peered through the darkness in the direction of the sound. We made out the silhouette of a person. That build could only be... Yikes! No, it's Takeshi! What, really? Hurry, we gotta hide! We dashed down the corridor. Where are you gonna hide? Oh no, this way's no good. The watertight door blocked our way forward. We're stuck! A dead end? That's what I was saying. There was no room nearby that we could escape into. We should have hidden in the room somewhere. Takeshi was headed towards us for sure. At this rate, we'd be caught for sure. Oh, what are we gonna do? Looks like we have no choice but to give up. Sara was flustered. Sora resigned to fate. On the other hand, No, not yet. At this distance, I decided that it would be better to make a dash for the nearest room. Let's go. I think we'll make it. I dragged Sara and Sora back down the corridor. We found an entrance and dove into a room. But, hey, if it ain't the kid! Whoa, what happened? I can't believe it. He cut us off. It's no good. Go back. Huh? What do you mean? Just as we went to turn back towards the corridor. Wait. But isn't that not how the game works? Like, once he calls your name, that's how you tag people in this version of the game, right? Like, you've already been tagged. So why are you still running? Pretty sure that's cheating. Gotcha. There was Takeshi. Aw. He caught us. Jeez, that took a long time. Oh, it's all because the kid said we should go back. But, I didn't know what else to do. Can't stomp. For some reason I read that as can stomp, like is able to stomp, and I was really confused. I was like, what? But yes, can stomp. Not long after that, he found you as well. We met in the conference room. Alright, now I just need to get Tsugumi. Takeshi stepped on the can, looking satisfied. Still, it's kind of weird. Weird? What is? The can, when it was kicked before, it was still in the same place. Huh? I don't know what you're trying to say, so wait. Does that imply that, like, nobody kicked the can, and it was just like maybe the sound of a can getting kicked played through the speakers? That would certainly broaden the range of actors who would be capable of pulling it off, right? Like, as a matter of fact, that broadens the range of actors pretty substantially. And, like, I would be pretty convinced that it was Coco, like, wanting to join in or something, if it weren't for the fact that, like, Coco was present for the game of tag in Takeshi's roots, right? So, like, the fact that the same thing happened there means it doesn't make sense for it to be her. Also, it turns out that I, like, completely misread the flowchart, and, turns out that... Wait, it looks like getting points towards Sara's route doesn't actually matter. Am I reading this correctly? Oh, no, I see. There's just not very many that matter. And also, the Coco points didn't end up mattering at all. I was, having difficulty parsing the flowcharts. I am, not very smart, you see. I have a small brain. But big heart. Huh? I don't know what you're trying to say. I mean the can should have been kicked, but it was still standing up. Takeshi said this as he squished the can some more. It was like no one had kicked it. Which... I'm gonna take as, like, actually true. Like, it doesn't make sense for Sora to have been the one to do it, but somebody with similar means at their disposal to Sora probably did. Right? Like, the room only has one exit. Or one entrance, I think. So, there's no way somebody could have been hiding. And yeah, playing through the speakers makes much more sense than, like, my original theory of somebody being invisible. Although, based on the conversation we just had, like, people being invisible is plausible. But yeah, I wonder who has access to the speakers. And more importantly, who has access to the speakers, but also, like, has a motive to make the sound of a can getting kicked. Like, is Sora just cheating? Like, that doesn't make... That feels out of character. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this, but at least I now have a firmer grasp on the methodology. Isn't it likely that the can was toppled and righted itself? Theoretically, it's quite possible. In the same place I put it. That is odd. But shouldn't you go look for Tsugumi? Yeah, if you're gonna be a sore loser, you should at least go do that. I'm not the loser here. You guys are. Whatever, you're right. It's exactly as you say. We got it already. Now get out of here and search. You and Sara waved Takeshi away. Jeez, you're so full of yourself. Doesn't even feel like I won. Oh, right, but... we are now past the point where new things happen, so I can press the F3 key again and go back to sleep. Did I say go to sleep? I didn't say that. No one heard that. I'm definitely not asleep right now. Oh, wait, there's choices. Fuck, I'm not gonna lie, my eyes were, like, actually closed. I was pretending to sleep. It's not my fault. I blame someone else. It's someone else's fault. Right, and then I just, like, pick random things because it doesn't matter. And then after that, there are only 2 relevant choices left. I can either look for you or do repairs with Sara. Based on the route that I'm going for, I would guess that you all can make an educated guess about which one of those 2 options I'm going to pick. Alright, so there's a game of tag. Although it looks like the route splits right after the game of tag, so... I was about to say that that's our last game of tag, but looks like it isn't. I wonder what sort of the broader reason for, like, including the game of tag in the story was. Like, is it just to, like, show them killing time? Just, like, to build character or whatnot? Or is the can kick... I guess the can kicking thing is important to the overarching mystery. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I'm still just not sure how it fits in, though. Like, it feels like accessing the speakers isn't really consistent with sort of anything we know about the capabilities of... Or, like, nobody other than Sora should be able to access the speakers, as far as we know, right? I mean, Sora could probably pull... Or Sara, rather. God, I keep getting their names mixed up. Sara could probably pull it off with her, like, I don't know, super hacking skills. And you may or may not have administrative access to the speakers in some capacity because she works there. but, like, it doesn't... I can't think of, like, another party. Like, a party that wasn't playing tag at that moment that would have access to the speaker system. So, I don't know what to make of that. Deeply confused. And we got, Sarah's backstory. Can I go to sleep yet? You would think that I would, like, prepare for this ahead of time, and, like, know that there's gonna be an hour of skipping or whatever to go through. I had to decide what to do. Do repairs with Sara. I think. Yes. Repairs with Sara. Actually, I'll come along and help with the repairs. What about Nakyu? He's tougher than the rest of us. She'll be fine. Besides, if something was wrong, she would use Lemma to contact us. But if something happened to her during that shaking, you needn't worry about that. Currently, there appears to be no direct damage inside Limu. Well, I guess the good news is, now that I've finally, like, run out of things to say during the skipping, is we are probably past the bulk of the skipping. Because this is the point where the route splits. As for Yu's whereabouts, the sensor should be online in a moment, and I'll be able to detect her. Alright, let's forget about you for now. Let's go check on the warehouse and we'll worry about everything else. Alright. She's fine, I promise. Promise? How could I promise that? But somehow I was sure of it. Okay. With that one word, the tension seemed to leave Sara. What are you doing? You're gonna get left behind. The next thing I noticed, we were the only people left in the room. Sara and I chased after everyone. Oh right, that's another, sort of mystery that hasn't been resolved yet. Like, why is the kid able to tell the future? Like, there was some bullshit about the third eye in Yu's route, but I, assumed that did not actually hold any weight. I assumed there was going to be a slightly more scientific answer for why the kid has, like, weird precognitive powers. We quickly climbed the stairs. We were told that it wasn't urgent, but we still couldn't afford to be careless. Tsugumi quietly shouldered the heavy toolbox, climbing higher and higher. Sara and I followed her while Takeshi and Sora lagged behind. Hey, Tsugumi. I called out to Tsugumi up ahead. What? Tsugumi responded without looking back. There's something that's been bugging me. What? Why are you eating a hot dog? I still couldn't figure it out. Tsugumi's behavior was incomprehensible to me. Then I hit upon it. It was like she'd been showing off. But what she said was, because I wanted to eat a hot dog? That's it? Is that wrong? I don't think it's wrong, but didn't you think that it might make Takeshi angry? Sara chimed in with a question of her own. How could I know what he's thinking? I suppose you're right. We didn't know about them until right before either. After that, we fell into silence. It looked like Takeshi and Sora were having a low-key conversation behind us. Well, Tsugumi started to speak suddenly. Maybe I did want to play a trick on him just a little bit. For a second, I didn't know what she was talking about. Then I realized she meant the whole hot dog thing. He's even more stubborn than I thought. Tsugumi gave a rare laugh. It was a kind of laugh that would raise the hair on the back of your neck. We finally arrived at its white stock. Looking around the floor, everything seemed normal, but we could hear a hissing sound coming from somewhere. Yeah, that's rarely a good sign. We walked toward the sound. Yesterday everything was fine here. Why do you think something would go wrong all of a sudden? Well, not everything goes as forecasted. It's probably because you're all running around like lunatics. Huh? Because we're making such a fuss. Probably threw Limu off its axis. Just kidding. Tsugumi's flippant remark had tensed the atmosphere around us. What's wrong? If you don't hurry, I'll leave you behind. Tsugumi walked briskly ahead. Hey, what's the matter with her? How would I know? She probably fell on her head. She really is quite unpredictable. For a while, all we could do was stand around, not knowing what to say. We had arrived in front of the room, making a strange noise. So it's coming from inside the warehouse. I'll run a scan to determine the situation inside. Saying that, Sora disappeared. The steam in there isn't going to explode if we open the door, right? Tsugumi fixed her eyes on the door. It's probably fine. How do you know? I'm just saying what you want to hear. Sora appeared in front of the door. I finished the diagnostic. Atmospheric pressure is normal. No traces of toxic gas detected. However, the temperatures and humidity of the room are slightly elevated. An area of the pipe is ruptured, and there's a slight water leak. The water's about 4 inches at its deepest point. Exactly as I thought. What? Nothing. That's all that's wrong. It should be no problem. No, I suppose not. Let's go in. If we fix it, there won't be a problem, right? Yes, please hurry. Oh, is this the similar to the incident that happened in Tsugumi's route, where she got the whole pipe through her leg thing? We opened the door. We looked toward the wall that was making the hissing sound. There was a faint crack in the pressure-regulating pipe, and water was dancing out of it in a fine mist. Are you sure this is okay? Maybe. Sure, something small like this we can fix in a second. Tsugumi opened up the toolbox and started taking out tools. What should I do? The pipe bit bent. I'm gonna reset the metal fitting. Would you support the pipe for me? Roger that. What should I do? Over there. There's a valve connecting to this pipe. You see it? I want you to loosen that a bit. At your service. What about me? I'll tell you which tools I need and you pass them to me. Got it. We started to work. We opened and closed a number of valves, connected and repaired pipes, and welded shut cracks. You're good at this. At what? Welding. Where'd you learn to weld? You really want to know? No, I mean, you know, asking meaningless questions is a bad habit of yours. Satisfied? Wait, that's not an answer, though. Like, why would he be satisfied? Huh? What does that mean? Alright, I won't ask anymore. So I guess that means he is satisfied? Every once in a while, I felt that Tsugumi's words seemed out of place. I stole glances at Tsugumi's expression as I gave and took back tools. Of course, her face didn't really tell me anything. Sora watched us for a while from the side. Now, this is, one of the less compelling theories I've come up with, and that's saying something given that it's me. But, like, I kind of want to double check and look at the logs of the conversation that happened when they were fixing the valves last time they were in here. Because if Tsugumi's, like, are you satisfied yet, quote, makes more sense in that context, like, if that's what she said in Tsugumi's route, and if it makes more sense in context there, then, like, that's real interesting. Of course, I'm really lazy, so I'm not actually gonna go check it, but that seems like a plausible, like, explanation for that little bit of dialogue. That would make, like, a lot of sense, and also make no sense whatsoever. But, like I said, I'm lazy. Sora watched us for a while from the side. After a while, an intercom in the center of the room sounded. What's that? Somebody calling? It's from you. It appears that she's in the security office. So Naki's alright? That's a relief. Excuse me, everyone, but Yu is calling me. I must be going. Okay, go for it. We should be able to handle the rest ourselves. Okay, I'll leave the rest to you. Sora approached the intercom and disappeared as if it had sucked her in. We knew she could travel instantly, but it was still an odd sight. Kid, I'm all set here, so please work on the valves for me. What? Sure, no problem. I moved over to the area by the pipes that she indicated. First that blue valve. What? What was that? For a second I saw something. Now twist the blue valve. The intercom continued to ring and the hissing sound of steam persisted. The feeling I just had, it was like before. I know, it was like when I was going to the conference room from the kiosk this morning. Now Sara, hold right there for me. Okie dokie, all set. Kid, do the valve in the order that I just told you. Hey, Kid, are you listening? Yeah, I got it. Sorry, the blue and the red, right? Right, loosen it, then close it. I started on the blue valve in front of me. I needed to loosen it. And right then it happened again. Inside my head went all white. It felt like my consciousness was whisked off somewhere else. What was that? An image flashed at the back of my mind, and it felt like my brain was being hammered by light. It would stop and start, stop and start. Boxes falling and shattering to the floor. Massive amounts of water cascading down. And then... what the fuck? Well, I guess we have, like, hard confirmation about, like, A, Kid having weird precognitive powers, and B, Takeshi's, like, roots and the Kid's roots being, like, deeply interconnected. Like, that was the CG from Tsugumi getting her leg run through with the pipe, right? What the fuck? I have no idea what to make of that. I remember losing all power to stand and crumpling right there on the spot. That was... It can't be. Hey, what's the matter? Hey! Takeshi shook my shoulders, bringing me back from wherever I'd been. Takeshi? It's me, kid, you okay? Takeshi, trouble. Huh? If we stay here, there's gonna be trouble. We have to escape, now. I coughed the words out deliriously. Things are gonna fall, and water will flood in, and someone will get really hurt. What are you talking about? You aren't making sense. Right now, we have to escape. I felt like I was filling up with fear and panic. Calm down, just calm down. Out of the way. My left cheek burned like it had been scalded. Calm down. Pressing my hand on my hurting face, I stood up. The pounding of my heart finally got under control. You've done enough. Saying that, Tsugumi pointed to the corner of the room. Go over there and sit quietly. What? You don't get it? I'm saying you're in the way. Hey, that's a little harsh, don't you think? I mean, he's probably tired is all. You be quiet. Listen, at times like this, people like him are a liability. He's gonna make a costly mistake. You don't want to cause an accident here, do you? Well, that makes sense, but... Now you know what I mean. Get out of the way. We'll get somebody else to do this. Alright. I walked meekly to the corner. After that, the work went smoothly. And finally we succeeded in getting everything back to normal. What I had seen hadn't been real. Thankfully, my predictions had been off. With the repairs finished, everyone left the room and I was in the warehouse alone. Man, I'm so glad that, like, I'm doing Sara's route after Tsugumi's route. Otherwise, like, that scene just now would have made a lot less sense. Or, like, I would have been able to glean a lot less meaning from it. With the repairs finished, everyone left the room and I was in the warehouse alone. I wondered what had been going on in my mind before. Well, everything had turned out alright, and it bothered me to no end. Yesterday in the generator room, and then this. I wonder what was wrong with me. I was still without my memory. I couldn't even find any of the pieces. But maybe... I thought that maybe these crazy flashes that kept occurring had something to do with my lost memory. Seems like a reasonable assumption to make. Maybe I'm getting closer to getting my memory back. I floated around the warehouse thinking about it. Suddenly, I noticed that deeper in the corner of the room there was another door. There appeared to be another room on the other side of the wall. The door was open, as if it were inviting me in. It was a tiny, tiny room. Inside the room was dimly lit and it smelled damp and moldy. The lights were off and closing the door made it even darker. I could just make out the interior of the room. The wall looked cold and sturdy. The room was covered with cables and pipes. I imagined that the room was used for storing equipment used in the warehouse. The far wall had a small, square window. My mind felt all foggy. Maybe it was just fatigue like Takeshi said. A lot had happened over the last 3 days. I'd heard a lot and thought about a lot of things. I don't know what it is, but I feel so sluggish. I sat down in a corner of the room and hugged my knees. Looking up, I saw moonlight streaming in through the window. It was warm, full light. I noticed that the walls of the room were made of concrete. Wait, the room just changed. Like, there was a shelf there before, now there's a bed instead. What the hell? As I sat with my back against the cold wall, I stared up at the full moon shining in from outside the window. The moon was far away. The broad night sky was contained in that little square space. The bluish shadows of the moonlight crawled slowly across the gray walls. I looked at the moon and its shadows, and let out a sigh in the darkness. I didn't want to think about anything. I pretended not to notice the freezing coldness. The room had a very small bed. The sheets were pulled tight. There wasn't a single wrinkle or even a speck of dust. Next to the bed lay a chair with all the sharp edges rounded off. One of the chair's legs was bent off in an unnatural direction. The door was closed. It was a steel door with no knob. You know, in like a prison now? Like what's going on here? I felt eyes upon me from the corner of the ceiling. A sharp, intense pair of eyes boring into my body. I couldn't see the body belonging to the eyes, but a harsh laugh rang loudly in my ears. Next to the lens, a red light was on. The red light shone on the ceiling as if it were cutting off the room's corners into darkness. Suddenly, I heard the sobbing voice of somebody behind me. Someone was crying on the other side of the wall. Ouch! Ouch! The small voice of a girl echoed in the darkness. I mean, I assume it's Coco. And then I heard, whack! Shut up! Quit whining! What? This is new. It was the gruff voice of a man ringing out. I suspected that the girl had been hit. It sounded like she had fallen on the hard concrete and was crying even harder. Ow! It hurts! Help! Someone! I covered my ears with my hands and shook my head. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Still, the girl's cries of pain didn't stop. As if trying to escape, I crawled across the floor to the opposite corner of the room and curled up. The moon's light was bright. I covered myself with a blanket as if to hide and close my eyes. The girl just cried and cried. Gong, 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 thud. I wonder what that sound could be. I didn't want to think about it anymore. Even if I closed my eyes, even if I plugged my ears, the image of the girl struggling on in the room jumped back into my mind. Ouch! Ow! The voice gradually got weaker and faded. Finally, it disappeared completely. In the silence, only a muffled sob echoed hollowly. The air in the room was so dank and stale that it felt heavy and strange on the skin. Help me! I heard a feeble voice. Help! Help me! It's all your fault! The sudden curses of the man drowned out the girl's voice. All this is just the way you wanted it. Right? You best fess up to all of that. All of it, rather. You knew from the start that things would turn out like this. Did we? No, I didn't know! Liar. So why did you run away? I didn't run away! You ran away. You left that girl and ran away. No, I promised! And you broke it. Or maybe you meant to break it from the start. At what point did, like, the guy start talking to the kid? Like, does the guy actually exist? No. You bought happiness for yourself. You traded it for that girl's life. Also, the game is crashing a little bit right now. It, like, keeps doing that. Like, it freezes up for a couple seconds. It's, like, been doing that through this entire, like, section of dialogue. I think it's having problems with the like, overlaid white text of the guy's voice. No, 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 no. Yeah, I promise. To wait like a good kid until you come for me. I'll wait like a good girl. I'll wait forever. That's sad. No! And on that depressing note, we will be closing the video for the evening. I hope you all tune in tomorrow to see how this little affair resolves itself. But yeah, that's it for me. Catch you all on the morrow. Peace.